And we're rolling. Episode 465.
465?
Yes, 465. No Laugh Track podcast here at Acme Comedy Company in Minneapolis. I'm Justin Severson. This week, get to talk to a first-time guest.
First
I get
time.
very excited about those. Geoffrey Asmus is here with me. I saw your show last night.
Okay.
We've barely met. We've spoken just briefly here on the stage before we started here, and now we're rolling.
Now we're friends.
Now
Fast
we're
friends.
Friends.
Yes, after what he witnessed last night. Fast friends. All the garbage, racist tropes I said last night. He's like, I like this guy. I like him.
I spent the night. I was like, I'm not going to be late for this. I can't miss
Yeah.
this. I'm just going to wait here for him to come back. So I definitely want to talk about last night. We're going to talk about you and all types of stuff. But where do I want to start here? First of all, last night was fantastic.
It was fun.
Actually, I'm going to step back here. So the first time I saw you perform here was a few months ago.
Yes, I've done like guest spots and I've done the open mic before, but the first time doing a weekend, I featured for Dan Soder. I've worked with him a few times and he brought me, and that was awesome. It's kind of a dream. Because I'm from Minnesota, so this is always like, I went to watch comedy here before I started comedy, maybe when I was like 19 or 20. I saw the guy who's featuring, Mike Lester, because he started a little before I did, so I watched him on stage, and I was like, oh, if he can do it, I can do it. I was like, okay. But this is the first place I think I ever saw a comedy show, probably.
Is that right?
In like early college. Yeah, because I went to college in Wisconsin, but I'd come back home, and me and my parents would come to a show. Because that's a good night out with your parents. You don't have to really talk, and you get to have fun, and they buy you drinks. It's nice. I always want. It's kind of a dream of mine to headline here. It feels cool.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome.
It.
So it was when you opened for Dan Soder.
Maybe like March or something.
Yeah. And we left that night. I came with my wife that night, and that was of course one of those nights where she was like, the middle guy was so good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So congratulations on that.
I got a fan.
You
there
impressed
we go.
my wife that night, although she didn't come with me last night. So
yeah, she's like, we saw it. He was good, but he's gonna do the same.
I have
shit.
a young kid at home, so
somebody gotta watch the kid.
So somebody had to stay home with the kid, but it was weird because right around that time, I think, did you also do a show maybe at a different club here around that time?
I was at Comedy Corner Underground, maybe like 2 weeks before that. It just ended up being that way. It wasn't planned that way.
Sure, and I think that came through my feed like on Instagram or something, and you had a joke, and I was like, oh, this is really fun. What I'm admitting to you is I didn't really know much about you until earlier this year.
That's fair.
And I've become a quick fan.
Oh, wow, thank you.
And
I love that.
So going back then, I remember seeing this video from promoting some other show. I'm like, oh, this guy's really funny, and I clicked on something, and I was like, anyway, I connected that you were from Wisconsin, and I didn't realize until doing my research to talk to you this week that you're from here.
I'm from Minnesota. Yeah, I started comedy in Wisconsin. I'm from Woodbury, which is one of the Applebee's suburbs of the Twin Cities. A brutal place. I mean, it's not bad, but it's just so boring. You almost wish it was dangerous. It would have something to talk about. It's so boring.
So I grew up in St. Paul.
St. Paul and Minneapolis are great. The suburbs are terrible.
I think I've told Mike Early this before because he's
from Woodbury.
He's from Woodbury as well, and I think I've told him this before as well. But growing up in St. Paul, which is, Woodbury is a direct suburb basically of St. Paul.
Very close. Yeah.
If you would have asked me when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, where's Woodbury?
You don't know.
Had no clue.
Because you're not going out to Woodbury to go to TGI Fridays.
It may as well have been South Dakota.
Yeah. Because we looked to St. Paul like, oh, that's where the fun is. But like, you're not going out.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
They're just and then since then I've lived in Woodbury for 15 years.
Oh,
or
you
so.
live there now?
I don't. My ex-wife still does, and two of my daughters do part-time.
You got out. You hated it so much you wanted a divorce.
That's right. I'm divorcing Woodbury, and because of that, I'm leaving you.
Because they have no independent restaurants. It's all chains, and it's just a big mall people live in.
Pretty much.
It's lame.
Pretty much.
But I love Minneapolis. So
it's wild that So anyway, I didn't know until I was listening to you. I think I listened to some episodes of your podcast as well as you guesting on one, and then you said something about Twin Cities. I'm like, well, what?
Yeah,
you are from there?
I try to hide it. I'm not proud of it.
Stop.
No, I am. I love Minnesota. I always rep Minnesota.
And I also have heard you reference a Catholic high school.
I did. I went to Hill Murray.
I knew it.
Yeah,
I was gonna guess.
I feel like it's Hill Murray or Cretin. It's
or St. Thomas.
Or St. Thomas.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I
you're
went
Hill
to
Murray
Hill Murray.
guy.
Yeah, the big hockey. I didn't play hockey, but I went there, and the hockey kids fucked all the girls I wanted to fuck. So that was cool, I guess.
So the hockey players at Hill Murray are really as cool as I thought they were.
They
when I
were
was
cool.
growing up.
A lot of them, I still am Facebook friends with them. Their lives didn't really turn out, but they were great in high school and some of them in college. But now they seem like their lives. They peaked in like age 20. I feel like I'm peaking maybe next year or something.
Next
but
year.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm hoping to peak next
Nice.
year.
Well, I'm glad I'm with you on the way up here.
Yeah, you're on the way up. I'm still on the way up. Yeah, it was a slow climb.
Ah, that's awesome. So when you were here in March with Soder, did you know, was the headlining gig on the books already?
It was not till after, maybe like a couple weeks afterwards. Lewis emailed me. Yeah, not long after. So that was cool. I was like, oh, I guess I did a good job.
Awesome.
That felt great.
Awesome. So quickly I want to go over, where did you first go on a stage? I do want to know
I
about
first went on stage at Comedy on State. I'm wearing their sweater now, I know.
Never heard of it.
Never heard it. Comedy on State, Madison, Wisconsin. Great comedy club.
Oh, yeah.
You hear a lot. I would say, and I haven't been to every club, but I would say Acme, Comedy on State, and Denver Comedy Works are like that's like the triumvirate of the best comedy clubs.
Yep, as someone who doesn't
opinion.
perform comedy, I could recite those
Are
same.
the,
as
I
what
haven't
hear
been.
the
I've
most.
heard Punchline in San Francisco is pretty good too. I haven't been there, but of the ones I've been to, those are the best. So it's kind of cool that Madison and Minneapolis, two of the best comedy clubs, not that far apart from me, like 4 hours.
Oh yeah, there's
away.
a friendly relationship.
Yeah,
between
like
the two.
you guys, Acme, you guys have the great open mic, and with Madison does too. Their open mic, 200 people there every week. So.
Which night is the one?
Theirs on Wednesday night.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always like pretty much full. And so like the first time I did a set was for 250 like college kids, and I really crushed. I can't lie. And then it was down. I bombed after that, but like it was a very easy place to start comedy. So that was really cool.
Sure. You were fresh? You went to college there?
I actually didn't start till like the end of my senior year.
Okay, that's what I was
I
wondering.
waited till I was like graduating. I was too scared. I went to the open mic night, and they had like college night on Thursdays for like you got in for $2 or something. I went all the time, but I didn't get the courage to do it till I almost was out of college.
Sober or inebriated first time?
Not too drunk. Probably a couple beers.
But a little
in.
bit?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I never get drunk on stage. I usually have like a drink or two.
Okay.
But I never get drunk. And I've tried to be high, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I think I'm killing, and then everyone's like, "What is he talking about?" I kind of lose the plot a little bit.
You know what? I want to go back to something you said a few minutes ago about when you said you were first were coming to see comedy here at Acme with your parents.
Yes.
As somebody who's been here hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, I have never even, I mean, I'm older than you were when you were coming with your parents, but I've never considered going with my parents. I don't even know if I would. Maybe I would have if I was that age. Was there ever any like awkward, like, topic comes up that I'm with sitting next to my mom and holy shit.
I mean, there's definitely awkward moments, but it was free. That's really what it came down to. I was able to drink, and I guess I was 21 maybe, but
okay.
Like free drinks, free time, and better than just like having dinner and talking with them for 2 hours. Rather just watch comedy.
Sure. I mean, because literally on the drive over here last night, my oldest daughter's 16, and I was like, it might be time for her to come start seeing some comedy.
To a show. Yeah.
But then the first thing that popped in my head was, what about?
Is it 18 plus here at Acme?
So what is the rule? Is it 18, Brandon? Yeah, because because I've seen younger.
Is it just like Wisconsin and Minnesota where you can drink if your parents say you can?
I don't know.
Because in Wisconsin, you can, if you're 15, they can be like, give them a beer. And
I know.
They can do it. It's the restaurant's choice, but they can if they want to.
I actually live in Wisconsin now.
Oh,
right over the border
Hudson.
in Hudson. Yes.
That's where my dad used to work.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he knows the drive that I do.
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah. And I bring my daughters to restaurants.
Hudson's
there.
actually has like a little bit of culture in it. It's like nice on the river. There's like a cool downtown area. I like Hudson.
And we've got the suburban area, like where it looks like Woodbury in one spot, but then
there's
also
like the
has
old Hudson, that's just very nice.
Then tons of local places.
Yeah, I like Hudson.
I really enjoy it.
Good place.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so anyway, I'm considering like bringing my daughter, but I'm like, what about? I'm gonna squirm.
I think that's a cool parent to bring them. As long as she's like 16, 17, 18. But some people bring like their 11-year-old kids to a show, and that I find ridiculous. But if they're in high school, they've heard it already.
Well,
bring
and
them out.
And I will say now that we've gotten to know each other a lot in the last year. We've opened up that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah,
But in any case,
that sounds good. Yeah.
it's great. But maybe whenever Bo Burnham's special came out on Netflix, and everybody went crazy.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
like,
that was like a year and a half ago. Yeah.
So my daughter was a big fan of that, and she was like begging me. And she knows, I'm connected to comedy. She's like, if you watch, we kept bugging me. You're gonna watch Bo Burnham's? I'm like, he's not really. So then eventually I sat down with her and watched it. Except when it came to this song called. I don't know. It has to do with sex, and she left the room.
Oh, really?
And I didn't know why.
No,
she took a long
funny.
time and then came back right when the song was over.
She just had to go to the bathroom for 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
what was
funny.
It's a song? Sexting. I think the song is called Sexting.
Yeah,
and she
it
left
is.
the room for it.
Did you like the special? I thought it was fun.
I liked it more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah. I don't think it's. Yeah. It's like I think it's more like very well done than very funny.
Yes.
I think there are funny parts, but I think it's also just kind of impressive.
That's what I was going to say.
It's a very impressively made thing.
It shows his talent.
He's very talented. And it's not, and he doesn't. He actually, his old stuff's actually really funny.
Yeah.
I think some comedians you can have like 2 or 3 specials. Their first 3 are like laugh a minute, but then they kind of get a little more like introspective after that.
Yeah,
they've proven they're funny, so they can kind of go a little slower with the laughs.
Sure. I could see that. Yeah. No, I liked it overall.
That's a good bonding one.
Absolutely. Certainly not as much as my daughter did. And I've even cool dad, I've let her play the songs now in my car.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Some of them are catchy. There's a few that I like. Jeffrey
Bezos.
Yeah, that one's good. Put your hands up. That one's fun.
I can't believe I even know that. All right, I want to talk about you and last night.
Yes.
Holy crap, what a fun show.
Great show.
When I saw that Mike Lester was going to be working as well, I was like, I cannot miss this. I
love Lester. He's great.
So I really want to go see the Joe List and Louis C.K.
Oh yeah, the movie. I want to see it
and
too.
last night, Wednesday night, was the night I could have seen it.
I saw that. I was like Rosedale maybe or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I considered that, and I was like, I haven't seen Geoffrey before. Lester's work, and I got to come to the show.
You made the right choice.
I do not regret it.
Mike's a good opener for me. He has kind of the same type of like manic energy. People don't know if he's like gonna snap any minute or whatever.
No,
I was mad at him about the outfit he wore last night. He wore like these board shorts and these like United Kingdom flag socks, and his hair is out of control. And I was like, you better be funny, and he was.
Yes.
He was. If he had bombed in that outfit, I would have been furious.
Right. His mullet is the picture of a mullet, like online.
Yeah, he really he went for it, and it's not for me, but I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it.
So as a consumer of comedy, I don't see this as much as I would like to. I was thinking about this morning, that when there's people working the same night that do so much crowd work, that I get that like the same groups will be, and it can go bad.
It can go terrible.
It can go terrible. But when the same groups are in contact or chatting with back to back.
Yeah, you almost get to know them.
Yes, I really like that.
That
when
was
it goes
fun.
Well.
I made sure to watch. I always make sure to watch the feature set because you want to like see the energy of the room.
Okay.
And I'm glad I saw Mike because he had a couple things with the audience members that I kind of could piggyback off of, and I think the audience loves a callback. They love that. They love like, oh, he's been watching the same show we're watching.
I'm a sucker for it.
I think I came out and said something almost immediately about something Mike was doing crowd work on, and it worked out. And it worked out great. I think it's a good way to, because Mike's really funny, so I wanted to like piggyback off what he was doing. So I think that went great.
No, it was such a great night. How much comedy are you doing these days? How much are you performing?
I just moved to New York City actually like a month ago.
Okay.
I used to live in Chicago for many years. Well, I lived in New York before, but it's whatever. But I just moved to New York about a month ago, so I'm doing comedy pretty much every night, but in New York the sets are shorter. So this is the first like long set I've done in like maybe a month or two, or I guess like a month because I was in Detroit a month ago doing long shows. But New York, you don't get to do long sets. Like in the Midwest, you get a headline a brewery, headline these road shows. New York, it's all like 10, 12-minute showcases. Yeah. But you can do a lot of those, but you don't get to flex the crowd work muscles.
So that's exactly what I was thinking.
It's really fun. I love long sets because you can kind of like slow down, pace yourself. I've had a lot more fun with that.
Yeah, I mean, from seeing you, there's a couple times. I mean, your act is made, for a long set. Not a short set.
I think I do much better. I think I change it up, figure it out for a 10-minute set, but I think I'm much better 30, 40, 50 minutes. Because I think my energy kind of takes a little bit for the crowd to understand sometimes. They need like 5 or 7 minutes to get that I'm not really an asshole and I'm just kind of playing around a little bit.
And I'm okay. I'm glad you brought that up because you have such a. I mean, I'm not even sure how to describe it. It's not cocky, but it's sort of.
Someone told me that I'm an alpha beta. And I think that's kind of like I'm like actually a coward in real life, and I don't really like myself all that much, but I fake it. And I think most people understand that I'm faking my arrogance. I just think arrogance is funny. I think it's funny to think that you're better than someone else, and so I think that's like a thing I try to do on stage because we all shit and piss and die. So it's like funny to think you're better than someone.
I couldn't agree more. But do people ever take that the wrong way?
Absolutely, happens all the time. All the time, people get mad. I've had 2 people try to storm the stage when I've been performing in the last. Since COVID, yeah, I guess, since COVID.
When we're supposed to be distancing, even.
Well, yeah, they're trying to get closer to me, yeah, in Nashville and in Chicago. Someone tried to attack me. Yeah,
That's what ran you out of Chicago, you're saying?
No, that made me like Chicago more. I'm like, they're feisty. They're willing to go for it. It's always like big bowling ball looking men. It's always like big, tough, ripped white guys who wanna. It's like guys who are really manly and they don't like being made fun of. They can't take it as well as they think they can.
Because it hasn't happened to them.
It hasn't happened to them. Most people don't yell at them because they could have killed me easily.
Right.
They backed off, or there was a security guard one time that stopped the guy. But like he could have killed me, like for sure.
Do you keep checking on security? Like you're with me, right?
I do.
Right,
I
right?
make sure there's security or there's someone working because sometimes clubs don't have it. I'm like, okay, I won't do the abortion jokes. Maybe, yeah.
Has anything ever like continued onto like the after the show where you're shaking hands or selling merch and they're like, hey, you're kind of a dick up there, bro?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even a lady last night, and the lady who sat in the front row, she came up to me and she's like, "You were funny, but it took fucking forever."
What?
She was like, "It took so long. I liked you eventually, but it took a long time." And I was like, I thought I kind of came out swinging.
Oh yeah, she's wrong about that.
I thought I had a hot start and maybe dipped a little and then came. I don't know what she was talking about.
Oh my.
She was a really chatty one in the front row. I kind of ignored her a little bit.
Oh,
a little annoying.
Yes, I have to tell you that I did what I always do as soon as I got a 40-minute drive home. So as soon as the show's done, especially when I know I'm going to talk to the comic the next day, I'm out of here.
Yeah,
as soon as you're like, thanks a lot, I'm at the door.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But I stopped in the bathroom quickly last night before I left. So then a couple people cut up to me, and I got to overhear people talking about the show.
Oh, I do love that, as long as it was good.
Yeah. Well, I only heard one couple, and it was I liked the last 2.
There we go.
I liked the last 2.
That's good.
However, they don't know your name.
They don't know the names.
Yeah.
I need to. I always forget to sign off with, "Hey, I'm Jeff Asmus" or whatever. I'm so bad at promoting myself. I hate that part of comedy.
As someone that supports comedy, that frustrates me. Where I'm like, where people talk to me like, "Oh, who's coming up at Acme? I should go see," and I'll say a name that
they don't know.
I've talked about or they should have seen on television or a podcast or something like.
With like social media now and stuff, we see so many names, people just can't remember it anymore. Our brains are just like, I'm out of names. It sucks. I need to do a better pitch for myself. Like I didn't mention my podcast at the end. I didn't mention my name. I got to get better at that.
Is this why you have a website, White Comedian?
I do have the website, whitecomedian.com. One of the greatest things I've ever done in my life. I've been paying $50 a year for that joke since like 2015. And I'll never stop. If I have $50 left, I'll renew the website.
Your last 50?
Last 50, whitecomedian.com. I think that's so funny. I should mention that on stage. That's funny. I should. Okay. Tonight I'll do a better job pitching.
Geoffrey, you have 2 weeks to live, but your website's expiring in 6 months.
We're renewing it. Keep it going. That's the only memorial fund I want. Keep the website going. Keep my dates up there.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's so fantastic. Is the woman that spoke to you after the show last night the one that you at one point said, "That laugh sucks"?
No, it was not. They were nice. They were great. They bought 2 of my shirts, and
awesome.
The lady just gave me an extra $20. They were great. Yeah.
Oh wow.
They were cool. Yeah. No, it was this couple up front. They were fine, but they were like whispering a lot to each other, which is fine. But I just ignore it. And Sometimes you've like learned from comedy, you get like a sixth sense, like they're not gonna be fun. Sometimes like some people who are disruptive will be fun and you can talk to them, but some people I'm like, they're just kind of boring. Ignoring's the best path a lot of the time, I think.
Well, and then you said something last night that stuck out to me when you said, I talk to the people that talk.
Yeah, almost every time, unless I can tell they just keep doing. But if they talk loudly, I'm like, what do you do? And they never talk again pretty much every time.
Isn't that interesting?
Because no one wants to be, some people want to be talked to, but 90% of them don't.
Yeah.
But I like talk. I think crowd work's, some people are like, it's hack. I don't think that's true. I think it can be really funny.
Yes.
The best is weaving in from crowd work to jokes. Like, that's what I haven't quite figured it out yet, but that's like what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Because I think people it makes it seem more natural. You're not just like reading a joke from a teleprompter in your mind. You're like, you work at a school? I worked at a school. Okay, great. And it's more natural.
I completely agree. And you just reminded me of something else that I searched your name on the internet, and then a LinkedIn profile pops
wow.
up.
I did not know I still had a LinkedIn.
Yeah, and it's like respectable.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even remember making a LinkedIn. Was it like, it's all like childcare stuff probably.
That's correct.
A lot. I used to work like I say I'm a teacher on stage. I wasn't really a teacher, but I was like a tutor, like the after school tutor.
I did that for a few weeks years ago at some schools in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Teacher's aid.
Yeah, kind of a teacher's aid.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what you were
doing. That was kind of what it was. Yeah. Recess monitor. I did all that fucking shit.
Yeah.
It was fun. But I just played Connect 4 most of the time. That's really what it ended up being. But
I barely had the job and got into a conflict with a probably 12-year-old girl.
And you lost it because of the conflict?
No. I was in the right, but
I got beat up by a 12-year-old, and then they're like, "You can't. This isn't gonna work out."
I threatened her. She punched me first.
Yeah.
No, it was about it started with her dumping her milk on her lunch tray, and I was just, like, you're not supposed to do that. And then she started calling me names. And it wouldn't stop.
Kids can be brutal.
Yeah,
they know how to insult. They're good.
Yeah, and then the next day I had a handwritten note from her in my little teacher
oh my
box.
God! Oh wow!
With an apology.
Oh, an apology. Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't like another. I'm not done with you, bitch.
I know where you live. I know when I can buy a gun in 6 years, it's over.
No, actually, it said, "I'm sorry I called you a fool. You are not a fool."
Oh, okay, that's sweet. Kids can be. That's the thing about kids. They can go from being the worst little devil to like the sweetest thing in like 5 minutes.
Yep,
kids are great. I loved working with kids. I think it a little bit prepared me for comedy because you like got to corral them, get people. You got to like break up the little cliques, make them pay attention to you. I think it was actually a very useful skill.
Oh,
for
I could totally see that.
Because some people who come here are just children who can vote. That's all they are. There's some real idiots that come out of the woodwork
that can
every night.
But don't.
That can, yeah. They also don't vote. Yeah, they can't figure it out. People get in a dark room and they have a couple martinis and they lose their ability to socialize. It's not good.
This is what I assume you put this together. That's on LinkedIn.
I probably did. Yeah, I think I remember.
Since graduating from the University of Wisconsin in 2013, I have worked as a touring stand-up comedian and in childcare as a tutor, after-school teacher, and summer camp counselor. Both of these jobs have given me excellent interpersonal, public speaking, and organizational skills.
Okay, not bad. That's a good profile so far.
Yeah, okay.
That's not bad.
Paragraph 2. I'm an eager learner who is always reading a new nonfiction book or practicing guitar during any spare moments.
That's accurate.
Still?
That sounds accurate. Yeah, I'm reading a book about war and trying to play an old country song. That's what I'm doing.
I enjoy teaching children, giving them all the joy that my childhood brought me. Whoa.
Yeah, that's a good line.
Wow.
I use that in all my resumes. Yeah.
Holy cow.
I want to make them as happy as I was as a kid.
Wow.
That always worked.
If you you get hired with every job.
That was a good one.
Wow. And most all, I enjoy humor and the power it gives us over the negative aspects of our lives.
Okay.
I hope one day to work full-time teaching children.
Really?
Preferably history.
Okay, that makes sense.
While still pursuing comedy at night. That's the dream anyways.
I said that's the dream anyways at the end. Oh my god. What a weirdo. That's so funny that I'm like, who wrote that? I'm like, I actually did want to be a teacher, but comedy's better.
Yeah.
But maybe one day, you never know. I love history. So
I wanted to be a teacher at one point as well, but I've never caught the history bug. How did you get into
really?
history?
Oh, I mean, my grandpa loved it, so then I always wanted to be cool to my grandpa, so I read about it. I just love it. It's just there's so much you never. We were taught history so poorly in school too.
Well, that's an understatement.
They teach it in such a. They don't tell us most of it, and the way they teach it is so boring, like memorizing dates and stuff. It's kind of an amazing feat that they make history boring. Like, it's the most interesting thing of all time, and they somehow make it the dullest bullshit you've ever heard.
Completely.
I don't get it. I think everyone should read it all the time. It's great.
Yeah, my lack of knowledge it really makes me feel dumb. And when I left St. Paul to go to college in Duluth and took a history class, and it seemed like I was so far. It was embarrassing how far behind I was. I dropped the class because I was just like,
really?
This
Oh,
is
wow.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
how little I know.
I think most people would feel the same though, because we just learn till we're 18 maybe, and it's already pretty shitty, and then we never learn a single thing the rest of our lives.
So I listened to a couple episodes, and now is the time we should promote your podcast.
Of my podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, my podcast called You're an Idiot, every Monday with my good friend Alex Dragovich.
Yes, and fun podcast.
Fun. It's a good. Yeah, I'm kind of the nerd, and he's kind of the jock, and that's kind of our relationship a little bit.
And I not cringe, but I'm like. One of the episodes I listened to, you were grilling him on history stuff.
Yeah,
like, what is it? What is it? And I'm like in my car going, don't ask me. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. Ask somebody else.
Yeah, I always make it. Yeah, I like to ask him a question every time about usually history, not always. But I don't think he's actually dumb because he generally doesn't know it. I think he's just the average person. And I think it's kind of an interesting peek into like how not dumb, like it's not even his fault. He just wasn't taught these things.
Yeah,
so.
No, I know, and I feel the same way. And I fear like that's one of those things where it hasn't happened. I worry like someday my daughter's going to be like, explain World War I.
Yeah, right. What was the
like,
Vietnam War? I don't. Before World War II, I think. Yeah, maybe.
The first one.
Yeah, the big one. I think.
But you have the internet. You're not supposed to ask me these things.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I love asking him those questions, but then he asks me like, "How are you supposed to talk to your girlfriend?" Then I can't answer those questions either. So like, we have different knowledge sets for sure. Is eye contact important? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Why did you end up back in you said you're living in New York now?
I did. Yeah,
Why?
I lived in Chicago. Did comedy there maybe 5 or 6 years. You just get to the top of the heap. I did all the shows in Chicago a few times. I was in at all the clubs. You're just like, you don't want to be the guy who just stays there.
Okay.
I mean, you could be, and you could make a pump for a living, but I'd always regret not like trying to go to New York. I had actually done comedy in New York before for like a year, and I moved back for various reasons. Mainly ran out of money, some would say. But now I'm back. I have enough money, and I made more connections, and I just want to give it a go, see how it goes.
Sure.
There's just so much comedy in New York. There's a lot in Chicago. I think I love Chicago for comedy, but New York is just. It's insane how much comedy there is.
I'm curious about the living conditions, like
living.
in New York for you.
I mean, the room I am currently like renting only for a couple of months is very bad. It has no paint on the walls, and the bed is more of a cot situation, and the only window's like in this weird chimney, so I can't really close it. So there's like. I wake up with the sun every day. That's not great, but the actual city of New York, I love.
Yeah,
I think it gets a bad rap for being dangerous. I think it's not really dangerous at all. I think it's very safe. Actually.
I overheard that you Bushwick.
Bushwick. I live in Bushwick, which is kind of the like maybe like uptown. It's like the very trendy young adult 25, 30-year-old neighborhood.
Do you know what the internet describes it as? If you search Bushwick,
what would they say?
Edgy and increasingly hip.
Yeah. It's like it's not quite gentrified. It's like in the process. It's not. It still has a very like large like Black and Hispanic community. So it's like a lot of like people like me like invading this very cultural community.
I heard you say you have a friend that walks her rabbit.
Yeah, I have a friend. a great comic named Maddie Weiner, one of my favorite comedians, and she walks her rabbit. She lives in a neighborhood next to Bushwick, and I saw on the podcast. I think it's so funny to imagine like a 70-year-old black guy seeing this white woman walking her rabbit in his neighborhood, and like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yes.
Like, they're just invading this neighborhood and walking rabbits, and like, the image of that really cracks me up.
White people and their rabbits.
Yeah, it's like,
Take
I mean,
over.
at that point, I can't defend white people anymore. If we're walking rabbits, I'm done. I'm giving up my white card. We're done.
I completely agree. Just for a contrast, by the way, so I looked up Bushwick, like I said, online, edgy and increasingly hip, and I'm like, I'm gonna look up Hudson, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What's their vibe?
Hudson is a city in St. Croix County, Wisconsin.
That's
Period.
it. Nothing. They don't know how hip it is. They don't know. They don't even need to say how hip it is. No. It's hip. Everyone knows.
We don't talk about it. It's a secret.
Yeah, you want to be a secret. You don't want people talking
That's
about
right.
you. It's a nice, quiet place.
Either you know or you don't.
You don't. Hudson's like the perfect distance from the Twin Cities. You can still come in, have your time, but you're away from all the hullabaloo of the Twin Cities metro area.
I completely agree with that. What's some other stuff I wanted to talk to you about? Oh! You do a thing on your podcast where you do some listener questions. I think this is where I heard this. And there was a question on there, and they asked you the male celebrity you'd like to have sex with.
Oh, yeah. Who did I said Denzel Washington, I think.
Yes, but then you also said, maybe Rod Stewart.
I love Rod Stewart. That one gets Denzel Washington's. Everyone's always like, that's a great choice. But Rod Stewart, people are like, who? I think he's so hot. I love Rod Stewart. I love his music. That's one of my guilty pleasures. I don't even think it's a guilty pleasure. That's just one of my pleasures in life. I love Rod Stewart. I think he's an amazing singer too.
Did you know he's in St. Paul
right now?
This weekend?
But he's probably at the XL.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Dang, and he's not coming here. He doesn't know I would suck him off even in his 75th year on this earth. I'd be right there. I'd take that Rod for the team. I love Rod Stewart. I love him.
Yeah,
I'd be his Maggie May. Come on. Maggie, yes, please.
If I knew now what I knew now, whatever it is.
Yeah. I love
Yeah, he's in town with Cheap Trick, I believe.
What?
Yeah.
That doesn't make that pairing doesn't make that much sense. I love Cheap Trick too, but those are not. That's not
Chicago
the same
band.
type of music at all.
Yeah.
Chicago, Rockford, Illinois. Yeah,
there you go.
Dang, Rod's here. I would love to see that. I bet he's still got it.
Well,
maybe. Some of those old guys, I've seen, like, I saw Elton John. He was still great. I love classic rock. Paul McCartney was still great. Bob Dylan was embarrassing. Terrible.
When did you see McCartney?
Maybe like 2013, 2012. Bonnaroo. I saw him at Bonnaroo.
Okay.
Because
I've
awesome.
seen McCartney, and I'm as big a Beatles fan as any.
You didn't think he was good?
The voice isn't there.
Really?
Yeah,
When
I just
did
don't
you
feel
see
like
him?
it is.
Was
Probably around that time.
Really?
And even between
he
then
did like
and now.
a 3.5-hour concert. He was running around stage. It was awesome.
I mean, he's like 80 now or whatever. I
think he turned 80. Yeah.
So. If you could do it, please, keep going. It's great. I'm just not going to buy a ticket.
I mean, the tickets are too much, and at some point, it's like, don't you have enough money? I don't get why it's $100, but I want to see REO Speedwagon. This is where I embarrass myself. I wish the Journey guy would get back with Journey. Steve Perry. I don't want to see the Filipino stand-in they have or whatever.
He sounds exactly the same.
He does sound exactly. Yeah, I guess that's racist to me. Yeah, I got it. You know what? I'll see the Filipino guy. Whatever. I'll see him.
What else don't you want Filipinos to do?
Yeah. Comedy. Comedy. I don't know. I heard actually Joe Coy is one of the biggest comics in the world. He's Filipino.
Oh, yeah.
He's killing it.
Huge. Yeah, absolutely killing it. He has a Funko Pop doll.
Really?
Yes.
That's how you know you made it. I'm not against that.
It's a sign. Let's mention that you did bring some merch, some fresh merch to Minneapolis.
My fresh merch that I made, I don't know how many, maybe like 3 years ago, really. My Neck, My Back, Stop the War in Iraq t-shirts. They're great. Actually, people bought a bunch of them yesterday, which was great. I also have these little koozies I didn't even mention yesterday.
What?
I'm kind of waiting until the shirts are gone because I only have like 10 left, really. So then
same
I'll sell
thing,
the
same
koozie.
message on
no,
the koozie?
it just says you're an idiot for the podcast, so it's not as great a merch.
Oh, I want one of those.
Actually, there's some in the green room. I'll just give you one.
Oh, now we're
they cost
talking.
like a dime to make.
Now we're
then
talking.
I sell them for $5. Get a big profit margin.
Hey,
not bad. Merch is where you make the money in comedy. I hate it. It destroys my soul every time I have to pitch it, but you do make a lot of money doing it.
And I think if you even do you mention that like, hey, look, this is kind of how I help. I mean,
I mentioned it briefly, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to like write a little pitch for this weekend. Some comics will have like a little joke they do. I gotta figure that out.
Yeah.
Because if people like what you do on stage, they just want to give you money. They don't really even care what the merch is. It could be a Death to America shirt. They don't really care. They'll buy it.
Yeah,
they just like you.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I feel ashamed, but also at the end of the day, I'd rather sell merch than have to be a waiter on the side or something. So like
Right.
I'll sell some merch, I guess.
Right. Yeah. There could be worse things.
It could be worse. Yeah.
I think one more thing we could mention is you have an album that's out there as well.
I do have an album recorded in Minneapolis at Sisyphus Brewery.
Okay.
Right before, I think I recorded like maybe 4 or 5 months before the pandemic. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Called The Prodigal Little Bitch. Yeah. And then it didn't come out till a year ago probably. Yeah. I love the title. My friend made a really cool cover where it's like me as like an old like Catholic saint or whatever that I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And
It's a
it
great
went
cover.
well. Yeah, it was cool. I'm actually hoping I'm tentatively planning to record a special of mine in this fall somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Or in Madison, actually, at the club in Madison.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's going to happen in November. Yeah.
Okay. And we have the contest going on here at Acme.
Yes.
You did a contest once.
I did do the contest right when I started. I started in Madison, but I drove back here to do the contest here, maybe in like 2013, I think. And I drove back. I don't know how many rounds it was. I think you had to do 2 rounds to get to the final, so I drove here and back twice. And then I had like a miscommunication with whoever the booker was. I can't remember his name anymore, but I didn't know like, oh, can we do the same set or whatever?
Oh,
and
Derek, maybe.
it might have been Derek, and for some reason I misunderstood, and I thought that I had to tell a whole new set for the finals, and I was only like 4 months into comedy, so I wrote a whole 5-minute set that I'd never done before, and then I invited all my extended family to the show, and it was completely packed, and I just absolutely bombed in front of all my friends and family. I got like complete silence because I never done these jokes before. They were bad, and I was a bad performer.
That was here.
That was here.
In the
yeah.
funniest person contest.
Yep, Ali Sultan won. Yeah, now a good friend of mine. Yeah, and
I was probably here that
you
night.
probably were there, and I won a mini cooler or a mini grill. I won a mini grill. That was my prize. I think there were 5 people, and they told us which order we got in. I thought they would just say who won.
Oh, no.
I had to know that I got dead
5th.
last.
Yeah.
I got dead
5th
last.
runner-up.
And everyone's like, that made sense. That made sense.
Oh my God! I wonder if I don't think I kept. I've been a judge for that thing.
You might
for
have been a
years.
judge.
I
You
may
might
have.
been like,
I may have
"This
judged
is
you, Geoffrey.
Brutal. This was brutal.
Wow.
I know I didn't get up at the open mic here for like 2 years when I came home because they're like, not that guy.
No
Not
shit.
after what he did. Yeah.
And then how soon after that did you do the one in Wisconsin then?
That was probably a couple years later. That was probably 2015. Yeah, I did that once and got like in the top 10. Then the next year I won funniest person in Madison, Wisconsin, an honor that I think about every day. A huge honor. It was a big deal to me back then. I
Right.
can't lie. It was huge.
You didn't bring the championship belt with you.
I did
today.
not bring the belt. I had a little trophy for a while, but then they made me give it back the next year. But it
Nice.
felt good for a year.
Nice. Very cool. Are you gonna? So the rest of the year, talking about you might record
Yeah,
later this year.
hoping
Living
probably filming a special. Yeah.
Nice. Living in New York.
Living in New York, yeah. Not really doing the road that much this summer. Just trying to get situated in New York. Not really traveling too much. But then this fall, I'm on the road a lot. I tentatively, yeah. I'm coming back to Minnesota, in maybe September or something. I come back here like every 3 months.
Did you save Lewis money on housing? Like, did they put you up on the apartment?
I was like, please.
Condo?
Hotel. Do
Yeah.
they get a condo
No,
usually?
whatever
Oh.
it's called. Yeah. Are you in the apartment?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
condo,
always, they got
the
it, yeah.
hotel.
I can't be with my parents. No. And Woodbury's so far away. You want to drive 40 minutes each way. They're actually coming to the show tonight. My parents are coming tonight.
Nice.
You know, I tell them don't come, but whatever. I always try to be as dirty as possible when they come because I want to like get them not to keep coming to my shows. because it annoys the shit out of
Well,
me.
I wish I would have known this.
I didn't know that
I
till
would've-
today.
Come on, Mom and Dad. Where were you? Should have been there last night.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I want to be at the Mom and Dad show.
I know. I'm going to talk about it probably. I'll either not talk about it at all or I'll talk about it the entire time. That'll be what ends up happening.
Will they make a point to sit like in a specific area?
No, they notice it in the shadows. They notice it in the back. My
Okay.
mom has an annoying laugh, and she doesn't. She's been to 50 shows, and she hasn't learned not to talk. She'll heckle me. I would be shocked if she didn't heckle me once.
And
She'd be like, "That's not true," or something like that.
And you'll have to call her out on
And I will have to. And she'll talk loudly with her friend, like, that actually isn't what really happened, Marlene, or whatever.
it. Wait a minute. Are you going to be like, how did you two meet?
Yeah, that would be funny. That's a good idea. If they're in the front, I'll go in on them.
Tinder?
Yeah, Tinder. Yeah. You look familiar. I kind of look like you. Yeah.
Let's see. My notes from. Is there anything else I wanted to mention? Just finally. Yep. Wrap it up. He's like, wrap it up. Yep. Just finally. Double check your fly tonight.
Yes, that's so funny because last night so my fly was down. Lady said your barn door's down. That happened at a show like 2 months ago. And a person also yelled, "Your barn door is down." It's like, I guess that's my fucking thing that I can't remember to put my pants up. It's absolutely pathetic.
So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah,
this
be on the
weekend.
lookout for that. The German worm might pop out. Yeah.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me. Great time.
All right.
Thank you.
There we go.
Perfect.
So I